All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Welcome to the developer live stream of Arcadia, the Crystal Wars. I thank you all for joining today. Hopefully, it's going to be a fun time. And I want this to be as interactive as possible, right? So we've done a couple of live streams the last couple of days, and I've done a few different type of playthroughs. And I figured I will do another playthrough. This time we'll pick a different starting character so you can kind of see how the different characters work. But the purpose of this is really for y'all. So I want to answer any questions that y'all might have about exactly what is Arcadia, how has it been developed, what is the roadmap for its development, what's its release times, what do you do in the game, any and all questions that you might have. Happy to answer them, happy to talk through them. Hopefully the sound and the video quality is a little bit better today. If it's not, if I'm too low or if I'm too high, or if the background music is too high, please let me know and I'll adjust it accordingly. So with that, I figured we will start with just a little bit of about what is Arcadia. So hopefully you've had a chance to play the demo, so you kind of know a little bit about how it looks and how it interacts. At its core, Arcadia is a role-playing game with open world base building and a sprinkling of real-time strategy kind of thrown in there just to overcomplicate things, right? So role-playing game first and foremost. It is you have characters that you can start. You will start with a single character. You'll be able to recruit up to 20 characters. Every one of them is unique. You're able to customize them in any way, shape, and form you would like. And each of them has stats, and they have their own backstories, and they have abilities and talents. Everything that you might expect from a traditional RPG. Equipment, crafting, armors, weapons, quests, all that type of stuff, right? Where the base building and everything comes into play, and of course the open world aspect, is that you're able to establish one to many various settlements and bases wherever you want, right? So it's not a linear sense where you'll get to a certain point and you'll have to build this base in this location, right? There's various resources on the map that you'll have to harvest in order to craft the various pieces of armor and weapons. And naturally, you'll want to be able to build a base around those areas or maybe some other strategic location that allows you to craft those things. So you'll be able to craft armors, craft weapons, build farms, build up essentially an infrastructure that allows you to support up to 20 characters, right? So you start with one character, you start barely with anything, maybe a couple of bucks in your pocket, a rusty old knife, and you work yourself up to really being whatever you want to be. You could be the faction leader, a clan leader that uh, goes around and actively participates in the storyline, the Crystal Wars storyline, which we'll get into in a little bit more detail later. Or you're simply you just want to experience the open world and the base building aspects, right? Focus on building a logistical network, so to speak. There's the concept that you can develop caravans that ship goods from one location to another. So maybe you just want to focus on the base building aspects, and you can absolutely do that. And then I say a little bit of sprinkling of RTS and real time strategy. The reasoning for that, or the way that works, is Okay, I am back. Oh no, can y'all not hear me speaking? That would have been very awkward if you wouldn't be able to hear me this entire time. Can you hear me now? I might have had the mic muted. Hopefully I didn't. It was very interesting what I was saying. I'll wait because there's a bit of a delay in the chat. Let me know if. Oh man. So yeah, maybe I was muted the entire time as I was explaining it. Hopefully not. I'll have to check the recording. I am recording this whole thing, so I'll put it on YouTube or something that y'all can kind of check back on that. But it is what it is. So we'll just keep on moving forward. Okay, so last playthrough, I believe I played as the Reingar. I'll talk a little bit about each of the characters. So one of the key elements that I wanted to kind of separate Arcadia is to have very unique characters. In RPGs and fantasy games, there's some norms and some staples that are kind of tried and true, and you see them everywhere. You know, orcs, elves, human characters, obviously, even things like dragons and dwarves and goblins and ogres and all this other kind of stuff. And I wanted to be just a slight different. I wanted to do something different, and so we went down the route of having obviously animal inspired characters. So in the game right now, there are 5 different species represented. So you have the rhino characters. I refer to them as the Rheingar, and they're your kind of your tough characters, right? They have natural bonuses to vitality, natural bonuses to perseverance, which is a key defensive stat. It basically allows you to take less damage and overall toughness. And they're very good at armor crafting. In the full game, each depending on which character you select will determine your starting location, right? And the Rheingar's starting location is kind of a mining style area, right? So they're very comfortable armor crafting. They're very comfortable as workers, as laborers, and that's kind of where they get that natural toughness. Obviously, there's going to be more customization options in the full title, such as different skin tones, different accessories, different horn configurations. In the case of the Rheingar, for now we do have male and of course female counterparts that you can select from. So that's the Rheingar. The other one of my personal favorites is the Bafarni or the bear. These are your real tough powerhouses. I mean, as you can tell, he's got a 12 pack. He's got lots of muscle there. Uh, these are your two-handed wielding tough guys, right? Tough guys and gals. Strength is their primary attributes. They gain a bonus to raw attack damage, and they gain different bonuses to two-handed and weapon crafting and negative to range. Now, one thing I want to comment about the stat bonuses, the racial bonuses. You'll notice that most of the bonuses have to do with experience gain, right? So the bear, for example, he will gain experience faster when he's with two-handed weapons, with weapon crafting, and with farming. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he's any better at farming or weapon crafting or two-handed weapons than other characters. That just means they're naturally gain more experience faster. I wanted to have that kind of racial bonus status because maybe you just don't like the look of the bears, right? But I didn't want you to feel like you had to have a bear if you wanted to have a character wielding a two-handed weapon, right? You could select the wolf character, the rhino character, any of the characters to be your primary tanks, your support characters, your ranged. This just gives a little bit more of a head start with them. So that's the bear. Obviously, female version. That is strange. Okay, looks like I'm back now. I'm gonna have to keep a very close eye on that. I don't know why I keep going muted. That's interesting. Let me see if I can adjust that real quick so that it doesn't happen again. Let's adjust that. Yeah, thank you for letting me know. I'm definitely gonna have to let me try to adjust. I think my microphone or my headset keeps turning on and off. Let me fix that real quick. Yep, you're gonna lose sound just for a moment as far as game sound. Okay, there we go. All right, hopefully you can hear me. That, yep, looks like y'all, my sound is coming through again. Okay. All right, as I was saying, these are the wolf characters. Crit based, dexterity based, but again, just like the other characters, you can choose to do whatever you want with them. You might notice this this eagle in the back. We'll talk about them. This is the Aeterans. Now, the Aeterans are a very important species in the game. There's obviously the male and female version as well, and they are kind of the royalty of the class. They have a special stat. Well, all characters have this stat, but they have a special stat bonus in knowledge. This refers to knowledge of the crystal. The Arcadian Crystal is a very important element in the story as well as just in the general gameplay. There's a lot that goes into it, and we'll dive deeper and unpack it all. But they essentially gain knowledge right off the bat. Now, there's 5 levels of knowledge, and each level of knowledge unlocks various buildings that you can build. It unlocks crafting recipes, different talents and abilities that are specific to either magic-based abilities or technology-based abilities. Because the Aeterans start with that level of knowledge, and of course you start in the Aeteran capital, which is has its own story elements to it. Both in the demo and in the full game, you're not able to have that character as your starting character until you reach a certain point in a particular playthrough. So once you unlock a certain achievement or something, then you can start a new game if you wanted to and play as the Aeteran. But because of their slightly overpowered start and their unique start, they're more of an advanced character, if you will. But you'll see them, you can recruit them at any point in time, and that's the other thing. This really represents your first character that you select, right? You'll be able to select up to 20 characters, and this doesn't necessarily need to be your main character. Maybe you start with these characters and they end up becoming just another worker in your town, right? These just happens to be where you start with. We all have to start somewhere, right? All right, so I think that's let's see, who do I want to start with? I tell you, I actually did do, I don't think I've done the Bafarni. So we're going to start with this guy here. I'm a big fan of the Vikings. The entire game is Viking inspired, Nordic inspired. You're going to see a lot of Norse mythology references and everything, and even some of the art has taken inspiration from Norse mythology. So in honor of the show Vikings, I'm just going to go with the Rollo. Why not? I don't even know if that's necessarily how you spell it, but we'll go with that. Okay, so this is Arcadia. As you're playing, these tutorial cards will pop up at various points so that you can kind of get a little bit more information about it, because there are a lot of things that go into Arcadia, given that it's an RPG and it's open world and it's RTS, right? There's a lot of things that goes into it. So these tutorial cards will pop up throughout, allowing you to just get a little bit more information. All right. Here's our character screen. Pretty standard that you might find within our other RPGs. One thing unique that I think I did was, instead of having regular armor icons here, you actually just highlight over the particular armor pieces on the character themselves, and it'll highlight the piece as well as, show a little bit more information about it. And then, of course, it's interactable if you want to equip it or unequip it. Skill system. Lots of different skills. We'll kind of talk about these, and I'm happy to answer any questions. A lot, of course, here, but nothing that is necessarily too out of the ordinary. If you're used to RPGs or if you play a lot of them, some of these stats is going to sound very familiar. Now, you'll notice that everything from these is starting at 0. And that's Arcadia, right? You start with nothing. You're given a very basic weapon, a few gold pieces, and that's it. Then you kind of build up from there. All of the stats, you might notice that there's, actually, all of the stats are experience based. So as you perform actions in that particular skill, you gain experience in that particular skill, and then you level it up accordingly. So right now I'm wielding a two-handed axe. Every time I use that axe, I'm going to gain more experience, right? Just like I was mentioning with the racial bonus for the bear, I'll be gaining experience faster by using the two-handed axes. You'll also notice, or maybe the lack of a noticing, that there's no level, right? There's nothing to indicate what my level is. And that's on purpose. So there is no concept of a level. Instead, it's just a collection of skills, right? You have offensive skill groups, defensive, and then support skills. As you gain experience in these particular skill groups, you gain group experience within that. So offensive group experience, defensive group experience, and support. You can come over to the abilities tab, and this is where levels, so to speak, kind of come into play. You'll see that every time you gain certain thresholds, you'll unlock new abilities. For the demo, there's only up to level 40 abilities. Obviously, in the full release, there'll be up to a level 100 abilities, as well as there's 2 other tiers. There's the magical abilities that you'll have, and then the technical abilities that you'll have. So it's another screen. As you gain, as I mentioned, as you gain experience with it, you gain. So if you're an offensive-based character, you're doing a bunch of attacks, you're going to gain experience in this tree, and you're going to unlock abilities in this particular row. No, I'm sorry, column. Same thing for defense and support. You do have, I did put an offensive rating and defensive rating kind of at the very beginning, and all characters have this type of rating. And it's more of a way to just kind of get a summary of how powerful your character is in relation to other characters, right? So if I highlight over my character, for example, and I highlight over this character, this is our Dock Master Nud. Come on over here, Rolo. You'll see that Rolo has 29 offensive rating. He has 16. And my guy here, he has 11 and 22. So it's just a way to get a little bit of more information about how your characters compare against other characters. Obviously, it plays more of a factor when you're trying to determine if you're going to fight something. But it's just kind of a quick look. And you can kind of highlight over to see how these ratings are calculated. There's a lot that goes into it, but basically the offensive rating is based on the damage. Crit chance, crit multiplier, speed, etc. All right. So back on the abilities thing. So even though there's quite a lot of abilities, the fact that you're going to be controlling up to 20 characters at any one time means that I didn't necessarily want you to have 5 or 6 abilities that you can use at one time, because that's going to get fairly difficult to manage. So for the time being, your characters can have 2 active abilities or active talents locked at any one point in time, and then they can have 2 passives. For example, if I want him to be able to heal himself, I'll select this one. And then if I want him to be able to do this power attack, I would select this. But if I'm not able to select that one, right? Now I can activate and deactivate these at any point in time, assuming that I'm not in combat. So it allows you freedom to change the talents that you're using at any one point in time, depending on the situation that you're facing. So if you're about to fight a big boss that has a lot of adds, right? Maybe you want all of your melee characters to have the cleave, which is a kind of a frontal cone attack. But if it's just one boss, having a cleave damage probably doesn't make sense. So you'll deactivate that ability and maybe go with a power attack. Same thing with your more tanky characters. You want to protect those that are just doing more damage and thus might be pulling more threat. So we give you a taunt, right? Just like you would find taunts in other games. So you're bound to 2, and then of course bound to passives. The passives come in a variety of different bonuses. Some just give straight stat bonuses. Others give a little bit more damage, perseverance, things like that. All right, so we'll go ahead for the time being. We'll select these. One of the things on the abilities, and then we'll move on to actually playing the game a little bit. You'll notice that the little text on the bottom says can be set to auto cast, and this one, for example, cannot be set to auto cast. It's exactly as it sounds. Again, when you have up to 20 characters, you don't want to necessarily have to be switching between all of them and smashing buttons. That's not really fun. So with some abilities, you will be able to simply tell your character to auto cast it on cooldown, essentially. Some other abilities, like the taunt, didn't really make much sense to just make that an auto cast, because you'll just kind of turn it on and you'll forget about it. But it might be something you want to put a little bit more thought into, or I've made it not an auto cast for balancing reasons. For example, the AoE heal. I didn't want that to be an auto cast, because if you put everybody having an auto heal and it's all on auto cast, it's going to kind of trivialize a lot of fights. So with the more powerful abilities, all of these AoE buffs and shouts, you have to go to that character, you have to cast it. Now it's not that bad, but it does add a little bit of a dynamic element to combat. But for now, we'll just set these to autocast. The way you autocast it is you just right click it on your action bar, it highlights, and now it's set to autocast. All right, maybe as we speak, maybe a mid-high level item that allow you to have one more ability or something will be nice. Yeah, I mean, there are different items in the game that will grant different stat bonuses. You kind of start with nothing, but as you complete quests or as you find discoveries, you will unlock various different elements. Okay, so given that the game has been out for a little bit, I will go ahead and start doing some of the quest items, right? I'm not going to find all the secrets for you, but I will do some of the quest items and some of the quests. I was previously avoiding doing it on live stream just so you can kind of experience it for yourself. But for the purposes of this playthrough, I'll kind of just play through how I played through the demo so many times when I was testing and developing it, obviously. Just so you kind of see how I play it. So what do I first do? Well, first thing that I want to do is I talk to everybody. I get to see what everything does. These are all the different crafting buildings that I have access to, so I can cook. I can come over here and I have a tailor, I have a tanner, so I can make medium armor. The tailor is where you go to make light armor, and then down there is the forge area where you can go to make heavy armor. The first thing that I always do in any RPG, it doesn't matter what it is, I always go around and loot everything that I can, just to see what I can start with. So let's go do that. This is a storage facility that you'll be able to build in your base, and this is some free loot. So, all right. So I know that. So I got some food. Always need food. There is a hunger system in the game. I know, hunger systems are, some people like them, some people hate them. It's kind of one of those things, it's a mixed reaction. I felt that for Arcadia, having a hunger system was absolutely necessary in order to help balance out the game, right? I can remember a key moment when my wife was playing the game, for example, and the very first thing she did was she walked around and she recruited everybody that she could recruit, and she got this huge group of people, and then she started going out and doing all the quests and killing things. And when you have a large group of people, doing quests that may be designed for one or two characters makes it completely trivial. And she was just, blowing through all the content super fast. So I don't want to take away the ability to have that many characters, of course, but I wanted there to be more of a choice and a consequence for having characters. And hunger is one of those things, right? I don't want to necessarily go out right now and pick up 5 or 6 characters because I don't have the means by which to feed them. I don't have enough gold to buy meals for them all. I don't have a farm set up. I don't have bread. I don't have any way of really getting food. And so that's kind of that decision that I hope players have whenever they meet a new character, right? They'll say, "Wow, this character is really great, but do I have the means to keep them alive? Do I have the farms? Do I have the infrastructure to support another character?" So that's kind of why the game is. Yeah, right now there's not a theft system in the game. I have thought about adding something, but right now the Arcadians they're kind of free. If you see something in there, they don't necessarily mind you taking it. So we'll just take the food for right now on this piece of cloth. I know that there is some loot in here, so we'll go inside the inn. And let's see. Let's see what we find in here. Oh, another piece of meat. All right. And some raw meat. We'll go ahead and take that because that will allow me to craft another piece of meat. And it's already getting dark. I've been talking too much. That's okay. Well, this will allow me to introduce crafting. So traditionally, in the full release, you'll have to build these buildings, but for the demo, I kind of give you buildings that you can already interact with. But this is an example of a building that you can build that allows you to cook meals, for example. So the way this works is it's kind of this is what I call a passive crafter. So there's active crafters and then there's passive crafters. Passive crafters will automatically craft things, the given recipe that's in their recipe list, assuming that they have the necessary ingredients. So for this, all I have to do is put the meat in there, and you can see that it's automatically crafting it up. In this case, cooking. Forges act the same way. Once you put enough raw ore into the smelters, the forges, it'll automatically craft it up. All right, so we're set on meals for a little bit. You might notice that some items, like this item, is stacking up to 2. But if I put the items in here, you might notice it stacks to 3. So you might be thinking, well, what's up with that? Well, the way that inventories work is that instead of having a situation where you build a storage box and there's like 50 storage slots versus your character only has, like 20 storages, I didn't want there to be this big list of boxes because when I'm playing those games, I'm getting old, and so it's kind of hard to find the pieces that I'm looking for if there's this gigantic inventory screen, especially if I have like 7 different storage containers and I'm just clicking through all of them because I have horrible organizational skills and I'm trying to find a particular piece and I just cannot find it. And then there's also situations where I'll be harvesting a lot of the same thing, and I might have a chest that's nothing but rocks or another chest that's nothing but wood, right? So to kind of do a different take on that, the way the inventory systems and the storage systems work is it's varying stack sizes. So you'll notice that there's actually less inventory slots in this storage than there are in the player. But as I showed before, this particular item only stacks up to 2 times in your player inventory, but it stacks higher. In fact, it stacks 5 times higher in this tier 1 storage. So I could actually put 10 meat in 1 slot, right? So that's how the storage containers work. Every tier, not only does it give you more storage slots, but it gives you higher stack sizes. Tier 1 is a 5 times multiplier. Tier 2 is a 10 times multiplier, and so on and so forth after that. So that's kind of how that's why you might see some items are stacking. It's not a bug. It is intended. It is by design that you have that. All right. So I know that there are some others. Obviously, I know because I built the game, but I know that there's some other storage chests over here, and these are the really good ones because these storage chests have a chance to drop loot. But when I go through here, I will trigger an event. I will trigger a quest. So I am going to go ahead and do that. I'll leave you to kind of read the dialogue and everything. But I will stop here. So this is an example of kind of how the quest and the dialogue system play hand in hand. So you're presented essentially with a choice. What's happening is these two brothers are having a disagreement, as brothers do, and you have to essentially pick a side. You have to pick either the blacksmith or you have to pick the forge master. And depending on your choice depends on what happens in the game. In this particular case, it depends on what type of quest reward you get. So if you go with the side of the blacksmith, he's going to give you a reward. If you go with the forge master, he's going to give you a reward. And then if you choose neither, well then neither one of them is going to give you anything because you didn't pick their side, right? There are things like this all throughout the game, right? I wanted the dialogue to not only be meaningful in terms of telling what the story is and telling a little bit about the lore and the game and having quests, but I wanted things to be meaningful and choices, right? Because otherwise it's just boring. So in this is an example of that. In this particular, I don't remember what I did in the previous playthroughs, but in this particular case, I will simply say that forging is the most important. So I sided with Broker here, and as a reward, he gave me this sword here. Items, very traditional system. They come in poor quality, uncommon, common, or common, uncommon, rare, epic, and legendary. The colors represent that. This is a rare sword, blue, kind of a standard RPG style convention there. This is a one-handed strength sword. So their weapons are either strength-based, dexterity-based, or knowledge-based. And just as you might expect, if you're wielding a strength sword, it's going to gain bonus damage if you are a strength user versus if you were a dexterity user. So this is what he will give you. Play the game. You can go through the other option to see if the other one's better. All right. So I will go ahead and use this weapon. And there you go. It's equipped now. Talk a little bit about this real quick. So you might notice that the attack damage, even though it says base value 9.5, but the actual value is only 8.3. The reasoning for that is I have low strength, right? So in addition to gaining a bonus when you have high skill in a particular weapon and weapon type, you also gain a penalty if you are not skilled in that weapon. In this particular case, there's two different types of bonuses and penalties that you can get, to either bonuses to attack damage or bonuses to attack speed. If your primary attribute is low or high, you'll gain a bonus to the attack damage. If your skill in that particular weapon, so these skills up here, is high or low, you'll gain a bonus accordingly to attack speed. So I have absolutely no idea how to handle a one-handed weapon, and so I'm going to naturally attack slower with that weapon because I'm not skilled in that weapon. And then the more skilled I become, the faster I'll be able to attack with it. So hopefully that makes sense and it's logical. Okay, all right. So through here, I will see what kind of loot we get. Oh well. So there is a chance for heavy armor to spawn in these storage chests. Looks like I did not get lucky this time. Let's see what's in here. Oh, I did kind of get lucky though in here. So I will demonstrate the crafting yet again. And we're going to see if we can craft up some armor. So this is an example again. It's taking up one inventory slot because it's a larger item. It's ore, right? And I wanted it to take up more space. It's heavy. But when I put it into here, it doesn't take as much space. So I'm actually going to be able to craft a decent amount. So we'll let that craft up. And let's head over to, let's see, I really want a chest piece. So if you played the game earlier in the week, or if you saw the live streams before, I have tweaked the stats on the items slightly. Call it a nerf, if you will, because some of the stats were just a tad too powerful. So I have you might notice that the stats are a bit different here. All right, so this, and I need leather strips, but I believe there was some leather strips and leather in the storage container over here. Ah, there is. So, very good. Let's head on over here. The way you interact with the machine, so I'm just going over here and I'm right-clicking on items. And even when I'm fairly far away, I can right-click on this and find information. But you'll notice that, for example, I can't take anything out of this. That's because even though you can see what's going on and I could even queue up recipes, if I'm too far away, I'm not going to be able to put items in there or get items out. Again, that is by design. If I move close enough to it, then I'll be able to interact with that. All right, so I need two more leather strips. I already know. I'll put this into here and I'll craft it. This is an example of an active crafter. This allows you to queue up various recipes, and if your characters have the materials necessary to be able to craft it, or the ingredients are already in the crafter, you'll notice that the character will automatically go over there and start crafting. The storage containers, so Wotan, to your question, the storage containers have a slightly larger range that you can pull items in and out. It's larger than the crafters. And again, that's by design too. And I'll probably make a visual indicator of the range, kind of a visual indicator so you can see what that range is. But storages have a larger range. And that's just a quality of life thing. I think I can pull it all the way over here. So that's about the range right there. So about right there. So, but crafters, on the other hand, have a slightly less range. Okay, so we've got the leather strips. That's awesome. You'll notice I'm crafting heavy armor. That's just kind of my playstyle. I like having characters in heavy armor. It provides more strength, it provides more health, but I move slower, and I don't gain as many bonuses to like critical strike or dexterity, and I actually gain negative dexterity. Dexterity, as you might expect, plays a big hand in your crit chance as well as your dodge chance. So one of the characters we'll meet later, Tristan, he's actually a medium armor wearer, and he could actually be a very good tank depending on how his stats roll, because there is such thing as a dodge tank in this game. So that's pretty cool. All right, so we'll put that in there. We'll craft up our chest piece, and then we should be good to go. I like having at least some basic armor before I go off into the world and start trying to kill the deer or kill the creatures, because they are a bit powerful and I have no skills, so I need all the help that I can get. So as I mentioned, happy to answer any questions that y'all might have about the game and about what is the path forward, how do different things work. Hopefully you've had a chance to play it. The demo, I will be deactivating the demo at the end of the Steam Festival, but it will be coming back, and it will always be free. I'm deactivating it because there's some things that I want to add to it. Like I said, there's roughly 2/3 of the demo is complete. There's still a third of it. There's an entire other area that is still incomplete. So I want to complete it fully first, and then I'll release it again, and it'll always be free. All right. So now we got some fancy armor. Now let's head out. I'm already hungry, so we're going to eat some food. And all right, let's head out. It's nighttime. We're not scared though. We're brave boys. Let's head on out. All right. How is I mean, on my end, it looks like the stream is choppy a little bit. Hopefully, y'all aren't experienced that as well. But all right, so this is kind of the main area. There's a quest related to this tribute shrine that you'll have to build. You can talk to Sten over here to learn a little bit more about it. But this is a quest. So last stream, I built a base. We'll probably, if we have time, we'll build another base. But for now, let's get straight into the combat. I'm sure y'all just want to see how that works. Combat, of course, is a big element of it. You'll be base building a lot once you get to a certain point. But in the very beginning, when you don't have a lot of resources, you don't have a lot of money or anything, combat and killing creatures is going to be kind of one of the big things. All right, so we'll talk to Tristan here. We'll get his Torsten. Sorry, I don't know why I called him Tristan. We will get his quests. Again, I'm not going to spoil the dialogue. You can read it yourselves. But he's basically this is a way to learn a little bit more about what are alphas, what are tribute shrines, and things like that. And now we've got the quest to prove our worth, which means we're gonna go off and we're gonna kill these deer. So even though I have this one-handed weapon, I'm actually not going to use it because I actually like the two-handed weapon on the bear because they have that bonus, and I want to get to level 20 as fast as I can, at least in offense, because I like this cleave, especially when I'm using two-handed weapon, which traditionally has a lot higher damage, base damage, but it's very, very slow. So you can see my attack speed 6.1 compared to 2.3. So it's very, very slow, but it'll hit hard. All right. These deer are probably going to pull together, but that's okay. Here we go. Maybe they won't. Yeah, there will be other types of food. Yeah, I do have berries actually in the full game. You'll be able to build farms and things like that to be able to. There'll be multiple ways to get food besides just slaughtering animals. All right, we're getting close. See, the combat's a little bit slower at the very beginning because, again, I have no skills whatsoever. All right, one down. Surprised your buddy didn't come with you. In this stream, I'm leaving I don't know if you can hear it though, but I am leaving the combat music and kind of all the music playing. Hopefully you can hear it. So I think it's cool. And about the music and the sound effects, so I've got a great sound team who's building all the music and everything for me. I will be releasing a soundtrack, and in fact, today, as part of kind of this live stream and everything, I will be releasing the main theme. It will eventually be on Steam, but I'm going to go ahead and release it on YouTube so that you'll have access to it and everything else. So it'll be free, of course. But in case you like the music, you want to listen to it, I'll be releasing that as a single track that you can download. All right. All right. Now this fight is going to be a bit tougher because I have a feeling they will pull together. So let's heal up a little bit. All right. Let's see if I can avoid getting all three of them. Oh, I got two. Okay. All right. Here we go. I might have to run back to Torsten and get a little help, but we'll see how it goes. Spamming my buttons here. I don't think we're going to be able to kill this guy. I don't think we're going to be able to do it. Nope. 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 I'm scared. All right, let's run back to Torsten. Let's get a little help. So assuming you have good factions, good relations with guards and everything like that, if they see you're in trouble, they'll help you out. All right, so he'll take on that one. I can finish this one up. Thanks, buddy. There we go. I wasn't scared. I wasn't worried. I had it the whole time. All right, we need one more. Now, I'm making it a little bit more difficult on myself because, again, I don't really have any armor or anything. I just have this one chest piece. In reality, I probably, if I didn't have this quest that I was trying to complete, what I would most likely do is take this hide back, turn it into leather, and get some proper armor. In the interest of time, I'm just gonna barrel through and try to get one more kill here. Hopefully it doesn't kill me. What's this guy's rankings? He's not only 122 health. I should, but I'm already at half health, so let's heal up a little bit. All right, I think that's good. Here we go. Let's zoom in. Let's get a little dynamic shots here. I will say that the animations still need a lot of work. I'll be the first to admit. There's not any visual effects. There's not, when I use the ability, he just kind of raises his arm. These are all things that will definitely be improved on as the game continues in development. The design philosophy, the development philosophy that I've had is that I want to make sure the gameplay is there first, right? Is it fun to play? Are the gameplay elements there? Did the systems work? Once they work, then I'll put the polish on. Then we'll put the models in, we'll put the visual effects in, do all that kind of stuff. So that's why some of the elements are still a bit of a placeholder. All right, so we did that quest. Now we will head on over. All right. So, as the pop-up shows, there's various ways to unlock different characters so that they become recruitable. Some of them are as simple as you pay them and then they'll be available. Others you have to complete various quests, or you have to be have a certain relationship with them. There's various ways that you'll be able to recruit characters. In this particular one, this was quest based, so we completed the quest, and now we're able to essentially recruit this character. Now, it's completely optional, and that's one thing. There might be times when when someone will temporarily join your faction or your group, but on a permanent basis, characters, you will always have the option to recruit a character or not. And it goes back to the original conversation we had at the very beginning around, food, and do you have the infrastructure to support new characters. So once you unlock the ability to recruit someone, they're always recruitable. In this particular case, I desperately need help fighting everything. And it looks like we got really good, we lucked out again. We got really good bonuses. So all the characters, Torsten is Torsten, right? And Sten is Sten. All of the characters are hand placed, if for lack of a better, but hand developed, meaning that um, their backstory was personally written. I wrote their backstories. I wrote their quests. I placed them where I wanted them in the world. They may appear in various locations at different times, but for the most part, I'm controlling where they're placed. I say that to say that they're not procedurally generated. What is procedurally generated is their particular ratings that you find at a given point in time when you discover them. And so his dexterity right now says 40. He's got an offensive rating of 85 and 71. When you play the game, his ratings might be different. His vitality might be slightly higher, or his dexterity might be even higher than it is right now. But he will always be a dexterity-based character. He will always have medium armor. but there might be slight variations. Again, that's just to keep, different variations as you go through the playthroughs, but Torsten is always Torsten. Good old reliable Torsten. All right, so now we have our buddy here. Let's see how we did on the skills. So not quite as good as we had yesterday. And I say that I think his dexterity yesterday was a little bit higher. And he was kind of all in perseverance. So he kind of split his allocations, if you will, between medium armor and perseverance, which are kind of the two choices that he'll always roll in. He'll always roll in just ranged. So he won't split between two-handed and one-handed because he is primarily a ranged-based character. But his defense will split between either medium armor or perseverance. And then his crafting, it'll sometimes split, but mostly it'll be within the survival crafting. So not a bad roll, 23% dodge chance. So he's a pretty good tank as it is, with only a 23% resistance though. I think it's still higher than what we have. And he didn't get any bonus vitality, but that's okay. That's okay. He does have level 20 abilities unlocked in the offensive tree, and that's it. So he has the cleave unlocked, but since he's a ranged character, I'm just going to keep his power ability, and we'll select those two. Oh, he did unlock this. I don't really need strength because he's a dexterity based. If I wanted to give him the strength weapon, I could, but he doesn't have any skill in it, so we'll just keep this. All right. So good old Torsten. All right, so once you get to this point in the game, what's next? Well, the idea is that the purpose of the demo is to complete the main storyline, right? There is a bit of a storyline. You're trying to figure out what these ruins are, right? So you'll notice throughout the world there's these ruins. There's one here on the beach. There's one up here, this lighthouse ruins, if you will, and then there's some ruins through the mountains. And you're trying to figure out what exactly are these ruins? Why are the Aetirians here? Because the Aetirians rarely show up in places like this, but they're all over this island. And in order to do that, you kind of have to go through the mountain pass, which is guarded by a alpha wolf. So in order to get to the alpha wolf, you have to gear up your characters. The way you gear up your character is you have to build a base, right? So it's that little bit of a progression system. In order to build this tribute shrine, which is the first step in building the base, you need an alpha trophy. The alpha trophy comes from the alpha deer. So again, progression. That's your general flow. So right now, what we're supposed to be trying to do is kill the alpha deer. I don't think we're equipped enough to kill it. Ideally, I would like for Torsten to have a helmet. I'd like for him to have a shoulder piece. Our buddy Rollo he might as well be naked. I mean, he only has a chest piece. But again, in the interest of time, let's see how well we do. I am going to save when we get over there, just in case I die. But we'll play through it. Let's go ahead and set all of these to autocast as well. Now, I tell you what, well, let's get over there first. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. So I already know that the alpha's up here. You can kind of see him off in the distance. And he is surrounded by slightly stronger deer than these down here. But that's okay. I think we'll be able to do it. Maybe. We'll see. Okay, I think might be starting to become nighttime as well. All right, how did he roll? The alphas, now the alphas do roll, they're somewhat procedurally generated in that the alphas might appear in relatively the same location, same general area, but their stats and everything will kind of always be procedural, and they will respawn as well, so you can kill it a few different times. This one kind of rolled high on defense, so that's a decent amount of health. Then he's surrounded by mostly 27s. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge because most likely those ads are going to pull with him. On Torsten, I'm going to use his AoE ability. So there is threat mechanics in the game. You have, like I said before, you have taunts, you have everything else. But if you don't have taunts, the threat, whoever is doing the most damage will traditionally be the one who pulls threat. Now, there's a lot of behind the scene calculations in determining who is the most threatening at any given point in time. But for the most part, if your characters are doing a lot more damage, which Torsten is going to do a whole lot more damage than Rollo right now, then he's going to be pulling threat. So they're going to be in melee range anyway. So that's what I'm going to use to cleave on him. All right, so with that, let's try to kill his ads first. All right, let's make sure Torsten is in range. No, Rollo. I need you over here. As I said that, Torsten needs to get threat on these guys. Maybe I should have used the taunt ability after. All right, there we go. All right, so they're all on him. Rollo needs to heal up a bit. Let's focus on Torsten. He's taking a decent amount of damage, but that AoE is going to work, which is great. So you can kind of see what I meant by being a bit of a dodge tank. So he's dodging a good amount of the fights, or a good amount of the attacks. It's still getting pretty close, though. I am glad that I chose the AoE, though. As soon as we get this guy down. Rollo, I should have told Rollo to focus fire. Oh well. Okay, so now I'm stuck using the AoE. Oh, man, I don't know if I'm going to beat him. I got to get some lucky dodges here. Rollo, yeah, he's auto-attacking. Oh, that's the pros and cons of a dodge tank, right? Oh, he just got crit for a lot. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, there goes Torsten. Okay, well. All right, Rollo. It's up to you, bud. Oh no. I don't think I'm going to win here. And I just realized that I didn't save. Well, it does auto-save, so we'll have to see where it auto-saved, but I probably should have saved before I started this fight. No, there's no way. There's no way. He just has too much health. Oh gosh, yeah, I'm dead. Oh well. So with that, let's talk about death and how that works. So obviously there is death in this game. If Rollo were to survive that fight, then Torsten is dead, but and this is locked in the demo, so you're not able to do it. But in the actual release, you do have a way to resurrect your characters, your fallen comrades, if you will. I'm going to turn down the background music just a bit. So you do have a way to resurrect them, and that's with the tribute shrines. So the tribute shrines act as that's the first thing that you have to build in order to build a base, but it's also where you would go to resurrect your characters as well. You have to pay a tribute in order to do that, but then once you do that, you are able to get your characters back. So let's load up our game. Oh, looks like it auto-saved right as before we attacked. So that's great. So we can just pretend it didn't happen and try again. Well, I don't want to tempt fate, so let's just get better prepared with our characters. Let's get a little bit more armor. I mean, we've got plenty of hide. So if nothing else, let's get some armor for Torsten, and then we'll be good to go. All of these have respawned anyway, so if we need more, we can always get more. But let's head back to town, and we'll get geared up a little bit better. Hopefully y'all are enjoying this little demo. Please, by all means, ask questions that you might have in the chat. Happy to talk through things, answer any questions that y'all might have. I forgot to loot all the stuff here. We're going to need all of this. Yep, we're going to need all of that. All right, let's head out. We're going to get a little bit better prepared before we tackle that guy again. And I'll turn up the volume back on the background music a bit. Okay. Who has all of it? This is another little feature. So this allows you, this is where you would go to trade between all of your different characters. If I had multiple characters, there'd be multiple rows of this. But basically, as it says, any of your nearby characters will show up here. Um, let's just put everything on Torsten as far as this. Rolo, you can go ahead and put all of the meat in here. That'll get crafted up. And then Torsten, let's head over here. Let's put all of this in here. Okay, what do we need? So I want shoulders and a helmet. So, and this is kind of how the queuing thing works, right? So I'm going to queue up a shoulders and a helmet. Nothing's going to happen because I don't have cloth and I don't have enough leather. I'm going to need 5 leather total, but I have plenty of hide. So we'll craft up a couple of leather. And I am going to need some cloth. So let's take, so Rolo will craft up that leather, so he's crafting. Let's take Torsten out. Let's get some cloth. Cloth comes from flax, so we'll have him harvest the flax. One thing you can do is you can shift right click on various resource nodes and they will automatically go around and harvest the nodes. So tell him to go harvest. We'll check in on Rolo and he should be crafting. So the way this queue works is, you know, it'll craft what it can craft. If it can't craft it, it'll just skip it and kind of go on to the next thing. Got some food here. Oh, can't stack there. Very good, because I am getting slightly hungry. Check on Torsten. I don't need quite all of this. I think just that should probably do just fine. All right. So now I've got to visit the tailor to craft this items up. So visiting our good friend the tailor. All right, how much cloth do I need? Let's see. I'm making a helmet, so I need 1. And I'm making shoulders, 2. So I just need 2 cloth. That's not too bad. So I need 2 string. Oh wow, I didn't need that much flax at all. Okay. So that'll craft up. I probably need to tweak the tailoring recipes. That seems a little bit. Why would 2 string give 2 cloth? That's silly. I'll tweak that recipe. There's probably a lot of tweaks that I'll fine tune. You know, a lot of balancing. That definitely seems a little too cheap of a recipe, especially given how abundant flax is out in the world. So you'll bet I'll tweak that. All right, so Torsten has the cloth, so Torsten will come over here and start crafting everything up. So there we go. All right, so he'll craft up his 2 pieces there, which is awesome. I don't really have anything for Rolo. Let's see, did I have leftover? Oh, I do have, I forgot. I do have this. So maybe we can get him some leg piece. Well, he has legs, but he doesn't have any shoulders. I do have 3. Oh, actually, I tell you what, we have enough to be able to craft a shoulder piece for Rolo, which is fantastic. I need more leather strips. Why aren't you crafting? What are you missing? Oh, just as I said, I need more leather strips. Okay. So we'll equip the shoulders. Boom. Got some shoulder pads. That increased his offense and defensive rating because it gives a bonus to attack speed as well. All right, so now he's crafting that. I know that I also, I canceled that craft. Oh well. I will Okay, so as soon as you're done with that, I also want you to come over here and craft the cloth as well. So what's happening is he'll craft this, he'll craft these two items here, and then he'll move over and he'll do the cloth as well because he has all of that in his inventory. And Rolo, you know what? You're going to do some training, bud. So you're actually going to work this mine. This is a mine. It basically just like you might imagine a mine. You know, your characters can work the mine and they'll have chances to harvest these materials. But another benefit of using mines and harvesting is that they gain experience in labor because it's a mine, and in this case, they're gaining strength because it's a mine. Um, Different other farms like tree farms or wheat farms, you might gain dexterity or you might gain skills in farming. So for now, since since Torsten's doing all the crafting, I'm just going to have Rolo just mine at this mine, and what that's doing is you will see that he'll see he's gaining experience and strength. So he's getting that much stronger. He's training in a sense. Once you reach building levels tier 2 and beyond, there's another building that you can build called the training arena, and that will allow you to train your troops, train your characters in weapon skills, and then if you put more than one character in there at a time, it'll train their armor skills as well because they'll be fighting each other. But we don't have tier 2, we don't have that unlocked yet. So this is what we have here. Okay, so got the helmet, great. I must have been out of range. That's why you didn't craft the cloth automatically. So the bad side about wearing so much medium armor is that you see it gives a negative bonus to strength, which means I cannot carry very much. So Torsten is already overburdened, which means I have a reduced movement speed. So in order to offset that, I'm just going to use this storage facility for my own purposes. We'll put all this stuff in here. Now you'll notice that the inventory is empty, but he still has 158 capacity. You might be wondering why. That's because items that you have equipped have weight, and that's counting towards that weight bonus as well, that weight value. All right, so we've got this. Let's head on over. And we'll craft up this piece for Mr. Rolo. Do I have... Oh, what was I going to craft? I said shoulders. And I don't have enough leather. I thought I had plenty of leather. It's the leather. Ah, there's the leather. All right, so we just need the one. All right. Craft that up. And he should automatically go over there. We should have... Yep, there he goes. And Rolo's just still working the mine. Hard at work. Hard at work. Hasn't gained a skill level yet, but he's already at 18, so it takes a little bit. But he's working. He's working. Now, technically, I could, there's only a 2% chance of copper, and copper is what I need to build more armor. So technically, I could just sit here and just harvest up eventually enough copper to afford the set. I'm not going to do that. I could also try and buy it. I didn't think about that. I will actually, I think that's actually what I'm going to do. So we'll give this, oh, I'm not close enough. Let's get closer to Rolo. And we will, there we go. Pull this over to here. And I will go ahead. There you go. So we got his shoulder pads. All right, let's talk to our buddy here. Welcome. And let's see. I can sell the sword because I'm not using it. What do I really need? A helmet would be nice, but it doesn't give as much bonus as legs. So 25. I can buy one more piece. Let's get gloves. There we go. All right, so now, oh gosh. So now you can kind of see a heavy armor. Obviously, it weighs a lot. So Torsten is like crawling right now. He's carrying too much. So we'll transfer. Oh no, don't wear it. So we'll put this all on him. All right, and there we go. So much better. Now, one thing you can do, um, if you're not in a battle, if you're kind of just hanging out in your own base or anything, technically he doesn't need to be wearing all of this gear that gives a negative bonus to strength. So you could probably take it all off, put him into more civilian clothes that give bonuses to labor or crafting, right? Um, that might be more suitable for daytime activities, if you will. And then whenever he goes to fight bosses, then you put on the heavier armor and everything else. So there's ways to manage the weight issues. All right, so our boys are much better prepared. So let us head out. Nice nighttime ambience scenes. So again, the objective: kill the alpha so that we can start the boss. And after we kill the alpha, I will go ahead. So again, this is going to be the last stream for this particular festival, and I'm assuming if you're going to play the demo, you've probably already played the demo if you're watching the stream. So I'm going to also do Cronin's quest line. So if you're curious on how you unlock Cronin as a recruitable character, I'll do that, and then we'll kill the Alpha Wolf. We'll go get the key, and then we'll show the kind of the ending scene. So it'll be a little bit of spoilers towards the end, and I'll tell you if it's going to be a spoiler if you want to save it for yourself. But I think we'll go ahead and do it, and it'll be kind of a nice little way to end the stream. It's still going to be a bit. It's going to take me a bit to kill the alpha, but probably about 30 minutes or so to do all of that. If we don't get completely killed by the alpha wolf, which is very possible. So this area is a little bit dark. That's okay. All right, let's. This is my previous playthroughs. We'll just save over that. All right, so we're much better equipped than we were the first time. I still want Torsten to have the AoE. He can have this, so I'll actively control Torsten. I would wait until it's daytime so y'all could see a bit better, but the day to nighttime cycle, just so you know, it's 30 minutes, real-time minutes in length. So it takes 30 minutes for it to go from daytime to night, the full 24-hour cycle, if you will. So I don't want to wait quite that long. So we're going to see if I can, we're going to play this a little bit more strategically. Put Rollo over here, and I want to see if I can pull. It is possible to pull them one at a time, but you got to be really careful. And see, Rollo messed it up because he got too close. Okay. All right, so here we go. We're going to do some AoEs. Let's focus on the small deer first. There we go. All right. Man, Torsten is getting hit really hard already, which I do not care for. Who are you attacking? Let's attack this deer. Let's focus. Focus fire. All right, good. Let's get this one next. Guess I could be controlling both of these at the same time. There we go. Let's get this one. I think we're doing a lot better this time. Even if Torsten goes down, Rollo still might be able to finish the fight. It means we would be without Torsten, but that's okay. Oof. It's going to be close. Deer is he must have got a good roll in some defensive stats because he is a lot tougher than I think than the alpha we fought yesterday. I'm just spamming this AoE. It's not effective for a single target, but it's what we had when we started the fight, so it's kind of what we're stuck with. And it was absolutely needed given how many ads there were. So I think we got him though. Yeah, we should have it. All right. Alpha deer. Get all this other stuff too. Why not? All right. So who picked it up? Rollo picked it up. So there's the alpha trophy. That allows us to build a base. We're not going to build a base this time on camera. We built it last time. But that is the key ingredient. The next ingredient, obviously, is more things that are a little bit easier to acquire, and that's the smooth stone, the wood planks. It's just a little bit of a crafting exercise to get all those items. But we won't do that this time. Instead, we will get healed up, and we're going to use the same trick I did before. So we're going to tell Rollo to just kind of mine, just work the mine so he can build up more of his strength. And then we're going to use Torsten actually to go do the quest line for Cronin. So that's another thing. Again, we started with Rollo. So in traditional games, Rollo might be considered your main character, but all of your characters can be your main character at any point in time. So I'm able to complete quests and do anything that I want as Torsten. So if I wanted him to be my main character, and even if Rollo died, for example, if Rollo was in that fight and he died, it's not the end of the game. Torsten then becomes my one and only character at that particular time. So every character that you meet has the potential to be your next main character, if you will. All right, so we'll just deposit this this build marker in there so it's on our inventory, and we'll go off. All right, so let's send Rollo to the mine to work, get his skill up. And yeah, I know that every once in a while characters will run through objects and buildings. I'm aware. I'll fix it. Add it. I'll address it. All right, let's have him. Let's have Rollo come over here and start working the mine. While Torsten, we'll just put items into the storage chest. Torsten will go off and work with Cronin. Now, again, this is an example of kind of a hidden quest, if you will. I say hidden quest because when you talk to him, it doesn't just put something in your quest log that says, "Hey, go off and do this," right? That's a little too cheesy. Instead, you have to talk with him, and through the dialogue, you'll learn more about him, and you'll discover that he's looking for something on the island. He's essentially trying to create a new weapon for himself. So I'll talk to him, and this is how you would, just learn that you would do that. You don't have to talk to him in order to eventually recruit him, but this kind of, you talk a little bit about him. It's a Conan reference, if in case you weren't aware. But basically, you get to the point where you say, "Hey, you want to join me?" Talk about how I can prove my worth, so on and so forth, right? And it says you got to go off and you have to craft him a weapon. Well, and this is, again, it's all about discovery. So you have to explore the island in order to find material that is worthy of this strong character. It's not copper, it's not iron. He's looking for something a little bit better. So this is a little bit of a spoiler. I will go ahead and show you what he's looking for. He's looking for a very rare material. So if you don't want to know about it, just mute the stream or turn off the stream if you want. But basically he's looking for a rare material, and it's only found in one particular location. And again, you would find it through discovering things, but obviously I know where it is, so it's up the mountain. So we're going to head up the mountain. Head on up here. All the way to the top. And what do we find? But we find obsidian ore. Now, obsidian ore is a tier 3 material. It will be found in the main game as well. And it's what you craft. It's what you need to farm in order to, or harvest in order to craft tier 3 armor. Which is the best regular tier armor that you can get. But then beyond that, tier 4 and tier 5 armors and weapons are magic and tech related armors. So we will harvest this. All right. And then when you find it, now you've got the quest that kind of pops up. And essentially we have to figure out, what are we going to do with this single piece of obsidian? Well, I know what we're going to do. Let's take it to the two individuals that we know of on this entire island who know the most about smelting and about crafting weapons and armor. And that's the brothers, the Reingar brothers. So let's head on over there and let's see what they have to say about this ore. How's Rolo doing? Is he still farming? Still harvesting, rather? Yep, still working. Good job, buddy. All right. So we'll come to Brokar here. And this is so the dialogue system, the quest system, it's all dynamic. It's reacting to what you're doing in the game and how you've been playing the game. In this particular example, you can see that you get brand new dialogue options because you have this item in your inventory. In this case, he recognizes that you have this item and that it's creating a different dialogue options and everything. So essentially, we ask him how can he smelt it. Now, again, this is a bit of a lore thing, or it's not a lore thing. It's more of a Easter egg, I guess. So if you may recognize, if you know about Norse mythology, about the gods, Odin and Loki and Thor, you might recognize their names, and you might recognize some of the nuances in the dialogue that I put. It actually tells the story of Broker and Sindri in this little dialogue thing. It's, go look them up if you don't know that story, and then play the game and kind of go through the dialogue, and it might be like, oh, okay, I see what you did there. I thought I was clever, but maybe I'm not. So we'll go through this. Basically, he goes through, and now he has turned this into an obsidian ingot. So what do we do with the ingot? Take it over to the brother, his other brother. And now, going through similar dialogue, again, you can play and you kind of read through it. And now he will craft, boom, an obsidian battle axe. Now, this is another scenario where you as the player, you have choices. You'll notice this isn't a quest item anymore. This is a fully fledged weapon, right? I'm on Torsten. He's not really a two-handed weapon, but I can wield it on whoever I want. If I want Rolo to come over here and wield this weapon, absolutely can. It's not a quest item, right? It is a full-blown weapon. And this is kind of where choices come into play. It's all about choices in Arcadia. You can really do what you want to do. In this particular case, you've made the greatest weapon there is, right? It's a very powerful obsidian axe. There's nothing more powerful right now in that you can find on the island. So this has got to be what Cronin was referring to, right? So you can go over to Cronin, give him the weapon, and he'll then become a part of your party, or you can just keep it for yourself. Maybe maybe you want it. In this particular case, I am going to go ahead and give it to him. So we'll keep my normal axe, and we're gonna go give it to him. So I don't know why I should have left Rolo farming, but that's okay. We'll bring him over to meet his bear friend. All right. So now we meet Mr. Cronin. We tell him we have crafted an obsidian axe. And it turns out that is what he was looking for. We're going to gift it. And now, as before, we have the option to recruit this character. And we will go ahead and recruit him because he is just awesome. So, we recruited him. Oh, I didn't show, but Rolo previously had it. He doesn't have the weapon anymore. So again, it's all about choices. You gave it to him, so it's gone until you recruit him, of course. And now you have that axe. Now the kill thing is he kind of comes with his own little battle axe, so it's kind of a win-win, right? Yeah. Rolo is also going to be able to benefit from it. We'll call them the Bash Brothers. So we'll put the weapon on Cronin, and Rolo. We'll give him the old axe as well, which obviously is much better. So, win-win all around. Cronin now has a ridiculous offensive rating, whole bunch of damage, got really good stats. Yeah, so he's looking fantastic. We'll use those abilities. All right, so now with that, let's go see if we can kill the Alpha Wolf. How are we doing on time? I wanted to keep the stream to about 2 hours. I know y'all are probably already getting tired of hearing me talk. I appreciate those that have stuck around the full time. So I want to keep it at 2 hours. 30 minutes is plenty of time. We'll either kill the wolf or we'll die trying, and we'll go get the key, and we'll do the final leg of the quest. You'll notice that I don't have the actual the crystal quest line right now. That's because I haven't talked to any of the NPCs that offer that quest, but that's okay. I can still complete quests and get the rewards and all the associated things post because the NPCs will recognize if I've already completed or if I've already done everything needed to complete the quest. They'll just give me the reward. So we will go ahead and head on over. Hopefully Cronin will carry us through victory here. Got a very beefy crew, two bears. We're missing a Reingar. We could have picked up Sten, but it would have taken a little bit of time. We would have had to build the build marker before we can recruit him. So, all right, now through the mountains pass. Through the mountain pass we go. All right, let's make sure everybody is set up. I want him to auto cast. I don't know if we need the AoE anymore because there's the groups are smaller. So we're just going to go for maximum single target damage. Yep, maximum single target. We'll go ahead and save. All right, and here we go. Off we go. Oh yeah, you see that big head? Yeah, Cronin is going to do a decent amount of damage. Oh, Torsten's actually keeping up with him. Yeah, we're doing significantly better than we were. All right. One group down. Unfortunately, we can't just sneak past. We do need to kill these or they'll just pull on us. Torsten's still going to be our main tank here because of his dodge rating. Even though Cronin has some heavy armor on him. I didn't even look. Did he... actually, he didn't gain too bad of stats. So he's not too bad. If I were to fully equip him, he would actually be a pretty good tank, even though he's wielding a two-handed weapon instead of like a shield or something. But he would still be pretty good. Yeah, we're kind of splitting our DPS a bit here, but that's okay. You can finish off this guy. And I'm not looting anything because, again, we're just kind of have a particular objective in mind here. All right. 92, 178. He could be stronger. I don't really know how that compares to what we did yesterday. We were able to kill them yesterday. So let's see if I can do, if my melee characters will not mess it up this time. Let's see if I can pull him. There we go. Oh, nope. Still pulled him. The melee characters get, but I didn't pull that one, so that's good. It'll make the fight just a tad bit easier. No, Cronin, where are you going? Get over here. There we go. I don't think we're going to have any problem. Cronin's kind of one of these master or unique characters. Even though he's taking a lot of damage, though. He might die, but that's okay. He might die here. That is okay. We will live on if he does. Spamming these buttons. I think we'll get it, though. I think we got it. All right. And we got it. We did it. Yay. We did it. All right. Cronin almost died, but we get it. We will need to kill this wolf, but that shouldn't be a problem so that we can head on up this hill. We'll go to the final area. Okay. Let's just take one of them up there. You'll need the full crew. All right, so this is essentially the progression of the demo's story. You build up enough, you get enough characters, you defeat the alpha wolf. Now you're able to kind of come up here, and we will come up here. And it's great that it's becoming night because I think it looks really cool at nighttime. But you'll come up here, and this you will discover obviously something is going on with this area. All throughout the on various parts of the island, you will have noticed similar ruins to this with this pedestal, which plays a key important part, but none of them are powered except for this one. So you will notice in this, we actually have this mysterious crystal. Now, it's obviously the game is called Arcadia: The Crystal Wars. So crystal, the Arcadian Crystal plays a huge part in not just the lore and the story, but also in the gameplay itself. You get a little bit of a taste during this initial quest line, and then once the demo is complete, you'll get a better understanding, a complete understanding of exactly what the crystal is and how everything works. So we'll take that out of the pedestal. It's now powered down, and we will go off and complete the initial quest. We'll complete this initial story element. I'll take my whole crew with me, just in case. So as I make my way over there, what this demo represents is the prologue, right? This introduces the story that and the events that take place when you first start the game, the full game. And what you discover is the Arcadian Crystal, and you learn a little bit more about its background, what exactly it is, who the ancients are, who play a big aspect of it. What is this moon? planet that you see off in the distance, right? That's not just a texture that I threw in the sky. It's an actual lore element. So what is this planet? What does it mean? You learn all about that throughout the demo, which acts as again, like I said, the prologue. But the story essentially is that you have ancients, which the people of Arcadia kind of refer to as the gods. They were their gods, so to speak. But you actually learn through this that the ancients were just a civilization, an advanced civilization, but they were just a civilization. And during this quest line, you will actually encounter them. You'll help the princess here, Princess Guinevere, and the twin brothers Kyber and Kanan. You'll work with them to uncover the secrets, which we've kind of fast forwarded a bit, to eventually you get to the point where you now have this, and what do we do with it? Well, these pedestals are everywhere on the island. Let's see what happens when we put it in here. And spoiler alerts, if you don't want to see the thing, you can turn it off. But we'll turn it on, and then now, mysterious figure who is ridiculously powerful has shown up. And it's very large. And you'll be able to talk with her. I don't think I'll do the dialogue, but you'll be able to talk with her. You'll learn a little bit more about the story. And then it's at this point that the story element of the demo in its current form ends. But in the next version of the demo that's going to be coming out, you will actually cross this bridge, and there are elements across the bridge that you will discover, you'll interact with. There's another boss fight that you'll encounter, and then you'll actually make the key discovery, the lore item that's kind of hidden behind these mountains. But I'm not going to give away too much of the story, but that kind of is what happens. So she's an ancient, and you'll learn a little bit more about her. Also note that these pedestals all behave the exact same way. So when you place a crystal in it, it essentially becomes active, and things happen when they become active. So I'll leave you to discover if there are any other pedestals on the island and what happens when you put the crystal in those pedestals. Maybe something will happen, maybe something won't. You never know. But we'll leave it there. We'll get a little bit of a shot here with our ancient in the background. Have a cool shot. All right. Well, y'all have been so talkative today. You've just been talking my ear off. I can't even get a word in edgewise, right? So, hopefully y'all have enjoyed this little live stream, this little playthrough. We rushed through everything. We didn't even build a base. We didn't recruit all the characters we can. We didn't really craft very much stuff. There's still a lot that you can do. Even though you completed this part, doesn't mean that the game is over by any means. You can go back. You can create. You can continue to build out the base. And things like that. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this. I'm going to head back to town. If y'all have any questions or anything, or anything that you want me to talk about, please let me know. Otherwise, I think we're going to be wrapping it up. We're at about we're about at the 2-hour mark. A little bit beyond. All right, we'll park everybody. Actually, we'll go to the boats. We'll head to the boats. Where's the planet? Is it already? It's probably above us, or it may already be setting. Oh, it's right above us. Right above us. So I'll create a kind of a cool shot. We'll go back to the beach, and we'll end where we began. All right. Yep, it'll come down here in a second. Actually, I think we'll kind of create a cool little shot, and we'll just sit here with our folks. All right. Well, so this time we played with the bear character. We recruited Torsten, of course, but this time we've got Cronin. So last time we recruited Sten. This time we recruited good old Cronin. So again, thank you all very much for joining in. I hope you enjoyed it. If I'll stick around in the chat as Torsten begins to starve to death. Let's not let him starve. You know, let's give him a little bit of food. There you go, buddy. I'll stick around in the chat in case y'all have any questions or anything like that. And again, thank y'all. Y'all have a good day.